Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Giridharadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jaya Radha Landanishvara Radha Landanishvara Radhe Jaya Radha Shamasanda Radha Shamasanda Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe, Shri Radhe, Shri Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. ISKCON Guru Vrinda Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastavitale Shrimati Shivaram Swami Dhamma Glories to Srila Prabhupada. So there's a few quotes from Srila Prabhupada, from his lectures, from his books, Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. So they've been compiled together very nicely in one post. So I thought that'd be nice to share with the devotees. Sounds like they're fired up in the kitchen anyway. So, don't know if you can see this. Oh, so are these the pictures? Yeah, because I was going to show them later, but you can show them now as well. But this is a really nice one. This devotee, Sharma, that's one of his paintings. Can you see that? Very sweet. It's kind of beyond our ability to depict these types of images, but if we're empowered by Krishna, we can do it. Tapta Kanchana Gaurange, Radhe Vrindavanishvare, Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Prananami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. So I'm going to be reading from Shastra, so I'll say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is a lecture by Prabhupada in 1973. So this is our philosophy, to please Krishna through Radharani. And just today is the auspicious day of Radharani appearance. So we should offer Pushpanjali and pray to Radharani, that Radharani kindly be merciful and tell about me to your Krishna. To your Krishna. Krishna is yours. Krishna, Radha Krishna. Krishna is not independent. Krishna is Radharani's property. So you have to approach Krishna through Radharani. That is, today is the auspicious day. Worship Radharani very nicely and be happy. So that's the hard part, actually, being happy. One time Prabhupada said to one of his disciples, I order you to be happy. The disciple was quite miserable. I think the disciple was thinking that, you got to be serious and Krishna got to be grave or everything, Prabhupada ordered them to be happy. So that's an instruction. So if you see anybody unhappy, any devotee anyway, go to them and say, you're not following what Prabhupada wanted. So sukham kartam avyayam. It's joyfully performed. So if it's not being joyfully performed, then it's not devotional service. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The beauty of Srimati Radharani's eyes forcibly devours the beauty of newly grown blue lotus flowers, and the beauty of her face surpasses that of an entire forest of fully blossomed lotuses. Her bodily luster seems to place even gold into a painful situation. Thus the wonderful, unprecedented beauty of Srimati Radharani is awakening in Vrindavan. So that's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then this is Prayers to the Lotus Feet of Krishna in 1965. I emphatically say to you, O brothers, you'll obtain your good fortune from the Supreme Lord Krishna only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. So there's an early lecture where Prabhupada's saying, my wife's going to speak about this as well later on. Prabhupada is saying, only the liberated souls can approach Radharani. We have to approach Lakshmi Narayan in awe and reverence. You can't give up awe and reverence until you've got awe and reverence. Once you've got awe and reverence, then you can give it up, and then you can go on to. So that means you follow Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi means rules and regulations. You do things that you don't want to, and you don't do things that you do want to. That's Vaidhi Bhakti. And then when you get to the stage where you want to do things that you want to, and you don't want to do things that you shouldn't, then you're at the stage of Raganuga Bhakti. Then it's spontaneous. When it's spontaneous, then you can approach Radharani. And if you're not sure, am I spontaneous? Am I a Raganuga? If you're not sure, then you judge by how much you have an attraction for sex life. Vikruditam Rajavadave idam cha Vishnu Shadan Vitam Nishanayad Atavanayadya Bhaktam Param Bhagavati Pratilabhi Kaman Hidragam Ajvapa Hinoti Acharena Dira. When you're attracted to Rajavadabhaya, to the Vikruditam, the sporting pastimes of Rajavadabhaya. And Vadu is an interesting word because it's referring there to the gopis. And Vadu in Chaitadharpana Manjanam, Vijayavada Jivanam, is referring to Radharani. She is the life and the wife of all transcendental knowledge. So it's only through the mercy of Radharani that we can gain knowledge and awareness of Krishna. But before we can do that, we have to approach Lakshmi Narayan and approach her in that feature. And then, over a prolonged period of time, steady devotional service, then this more confidential. So we have a special concession because it's the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. We're allowed to speak about Radharani, although I'm definitely completely unqualified. In fact, this is a bit scary. I was going to say this later on, but I'll probably say it again anyway. But Radhi Radhi it's in there somewhere. Oh. So this is a point that Keshav Maharaj was making as well. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, right, this was a very early lecture. I think it was 1966, and he was saying, we can't approach Srimati Radharani directly until we're liberated. And Keshav Maharaj makes the point that the most dangerous thing to not understand is how much you don't understand. Because if you don't understand how much you don't understand, then you'll think that you understand something that you don't. And so Radharani is especially like that. So better always to be cautious. Because see with Lord Chaitanya, he's in the mood of Radharani, but because he's 100% merciful, then we can't offend Lord Chaitanya unless we offend one of his devotees. So it's very easy to approach Krishna through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. But if you try to approach Krishna through Radharani and you make some offense, then Krishna is very heavy if you make an offense to Srimati Radharani. So caution is always the better. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Actually, this is nectar of ocean. Actually, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is very difficult to approach him. But the devotee is taking advantage of his compassionate nature, which is represented by Radharani. Always pray to Radharani for Krishna's compassion. So that's why when we chant Hare Krishna, the first name we chant is Radharani's name, Hare, and then by her mercy, then we can approach Krishna. This is from a lecture by Srila Prabhupada in 68. Krishna, everyone is trying to love Krishna, but Krishna is trying to love somebody. Now how great she is. Just try to understand everyone, the whole world, the whole universe, all living entities, they are trying to love Krishna, Krishna Prema. Lord Chaitanya describes Prema, Pumato, Mahan, and Rupa Goswami describe that you are distributing Krishna Prema. So Krishna Prema is so valuable But Krishna is after Radharani. Just see how Radharani is great. Just try to understand the greatness of Radharani. Therefore, she is so great, and we have to offer our respect. So the significance of that is everybody is after Krishna, but Krishna is after Radharani. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami offers his respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani, taking a straw in his mouth. Indeed, he prays, O Gandharvika, Srimati Radharani, just as Lord Krishna never rejects a surrendered soul, please don't reject me. So there's a beautiful book, Vilap Kusumanjali, and in that we see how the perfection of loving exchanges between Rati Manjari and Srimati Radharani. And Rati Manjari is Raghunath Das Goswami. He's very, very humble and very attentive to his service to Srimati Radharani. And his worst fear is to offend her in any way. One time he went into his he was at Radhakund, and he went into his Swarup as Rati Manjari, and he was supposed to go back and find a kind of chain that was around Radharani's waist. She'd left it behind when she was with Krishna, and Radharani knew if they saw it, then they would know. So she asked Rati Manjari to go and get it. So she did, but it was obvious when she came back what was going on, and the gopis began to laugh and say things about Radharani, and Radharani became very angry, and she says to Rati Manjari, just go away, leave me. And Rati Manjari says, well, where will I go? And she says, I don't care, don't come in. And she was in her little grove. And so then Rati Manjari started crying, while the kajal was coming down. And then Lalita came up and said, what is wrong? She says, oh, Radharani has rejected me. So then she went and she said to Radharani, if anyone should be rejected, it should be me. I told everybody about the chain, not Rati Manjari. And then, and so then Rati Manjari is allowed back in to service to Radharani. But it just shows how careful we have to be, even in the perfected stage, what to speak of in our conditioned stage. So this is from a lecture again by Srila Prabhupada in 1969. Radharani can deliver Krishna. She is so great a devotee, the emblem of Mahabhagavat. Even Krishna cannot understand the quality of Radharani's devotion. Although Krishna says, Vedaham samatitani, I know everything, he fails to understand Radharani. Radharani is so great. So that's, Krishna can't understand Radharani. He has to come down as Lord Chaitanya to try and figure her out, try and get in the mood, to try and, because, and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it explains also that when Krishna sees the gopis, he sees that they're millions of times happier than him. And so he's thinking, I'm the enjoyer here, I'm the one that's supposed to be enjoying everything, but they're enjoying more by serving me. So then he wants to go into that mood to experience what that enjoyment of the Mahabhagavat is. And then Prabhupada, in the conversation in 73, he says, I'm very much indebted to my father, for he took care of me in such a way that I became perfectly Krishna conscious. My father used to receive many saintly persons at our home, and to every one of them he used to say, kindly bless my son, so that he may become a servant of Radharani. That was his only ambition. And then again a prayer by Srila Prabhupada in 1965. I emphatically say to you, O brothers, you will obtain your good fortune from the Supreme Lord Krishna only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. I think you said that one already. He's repeated that. And in the lecture in 69, of all the young girls, Radha is the most beautiful. She always dresses so nicely that Damodar is attracted by her beauty. If you go to Vrindavan, you will find everyone worshipping Radharani. All the devotees in Vrindavan worship Radharani. The pure devotees pray to Radharani. Oh, my worshipful Radharani, you are so full of mercy. I am begging for your mercy. And then Prabhupada in a letter in 71, yes, the bumblebee is very much favored by Krishna and Radharani. Sometimes the bumblebee is taken as a messenger by Radharani, and she rebukes the bumblebee because the bumblebee is blackish and Krishna is also blackish. Still, in spite of all rebuking, the bumblebee tried always to touch the lotus feet of Radharani. Therefore, the bumblebee is to be offered all reverence and respect. So if you see a bumblebee, pay your obeisances, because it could be Krishna. So this is 69, Prabhupada lecture. Radharani is Hari Priya, very dear to Krishna. Through the mercy of Radharani, we can easily approach Krishna. If Radharani recommends, this devotee is very nice, then Krishna immediately accepts me, however great a fool I may be. Because I am recommended by Radharani, Krishna accepts me. Therefore, in Vrindavan, you'll find all the devotees chanting Radharani's name more than Krishna's. Wherever you'll go, you'll find the devotees greeting one another. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. You'll find this still in Vrindavan. The devotees are glorifying Radharani. If you go by the speculative process to understand Krishna, it will take many, many lives. But if you take to devotional service and just tries to please Radharani, Krishna will be gotten very easily. So there's a hint of how to please Radharani in our Guruvastikam prayers. But the spiritual master is always eager to hear and chant Madhunta Kajugal pastimes of Shri Radhika and Madhava and the qualities, names and forms. The spiritual master is very dear because he's expert at assisting the gopis who at different times make different tasteful arrangements for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's conjugal loving affairs. I offer most humble obeisances to the lotus feet of my spiritual master. So by the mercy of our Guru, we're able to approach Radharani. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Radha is one who gives pleasure to Govinda, and she is also the enchantress of Govinda. She is the be-all and end-all of Govinda, and the crest jewel of all his consorts. The be-all and end-all. It's funny, just a few years ago, I didn't believe in God. If you go back a few years, I was brought up an atheist. My father was brought up in a Catholic family, and my mother was Protestant. So they made this deal that they wouldn't speak about religion. So that was it. There was no talk of God or anything in our house. It was a rule. And then in 1982, I got a book by Prabhupada, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I thought, this is interesting. God's a person, and he does things, He isn't just like floating around in heaven on a cloud, just throwing the thunderbolt down. So I thought that was interesting. And then even more interesting is to find out that the be-all and end-all of God is Radharani. That's all he's thinking of all the time, how to be with Radharani, because he loves Radharani so much. So that's quite a leap, isn't it, from an atheist to at least accepting philosophically that could be a possibility. Isn't it interesting also, if you won the lottery and you had £100 million, that you would spend all your time with cows wandering around in your bare feet? Isn't that interesting that Krishna has everything and all he wants to do is be with Radharani and head the cows? There must be such a special sweetness in that, and people don't know how to enjoy themselves. And that's why people are so unhealthy, especially in the West, because they don't know how to regulate their sense gratification. They don't know really how to eat, how to enjoy themselves, how to deepen a loving relationship, where the loving exchanges. All these things have been forgotten. So she is the be-all and end-all of Govinda. Shrimati Radharani. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita again. Shrimati Radharani is the center of all Vrindavan's activities. In Vrindavan, Krishna is the instrument of Shrimati Radharani. Therefore, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan still chant Jaya Radhe. From Krishna's own statement given herein, it appears that Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan, and that Krishna is simply her decoration. So this is the lecture by Srila Prabhupada in 73. Radharani is presented, the original pleasure potency, always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. So anyone who comes before Radharani to serve Krishna, oh, she becomes so pleased. Oh, here is a devotee of Krishna. She immediately recommends Krishna. Oh, here is a devotee. He is better than me. This is Radharani. I may be not devotee. I may be most fallen rascal. But if I try to reach Krishna through Radharani, then my business is successful. Therefore, we should worship Radharani first. That is our business. Instead of offering directly one flower to Krishna, you just put it in the hands of Radharani. My mother Radharani, Jagan Mata, if you kindly take this flower and offer it to Krishna. Oh, Radharani says, oh, you have brought a flower. Krishna said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. But don't try to offer Krishna directly. Just offer through Radharani. You'll be very much appreciated by Radharani. Then nectar of devotion. Krishna attracts everyone, but devotional service attracts even Krishna. The symbol of devotional service is the highest degree. In the highest degree is Radharani. Krishna is called Madan Mohan, which means that he is so attractive that he can defeat the attraction of thousands of cupids. But Radharani is still more attractive, for she can even attract Krishna. Therefore, devotees call her Madan Mohan Mohani, the attractor of Cupid. That's nectar of devotion. And then on chanting Hare Krishna, the word Hare is a form of addressing the energy of the Lord, and the words Krishna and Rama are forms of directly addressing the Lord himself. Both Krishna and Rama mean the highest pleasure. Hara is the supreme pleasure potency of the Lord. This potency, addressed as Hare, helps us in reaching the Supreme Lord. And then this is the Radhika Stava chorus by Srila Goswami. O Radha, O beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Gokul, all glories to you, all glories to you. Is that Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya Gokul? And then this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the foremost. She surpasses all in beauty, good qualities, in good fortune, and above all in love. So there's a book, Krishna Sangati, and in it there's Lalita Vidagva and Lalita Madhva, and they're plays by Rupa Goswami. And in that, there's the pastime where Krishna gets married to the gopis. Have you read that? So, so Purnamasi gets all the people together in the courtyard, and they're all in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard, and she says, "Bring all the gopis." So all the gopis come, and Radharani is there, and then she says to one of the manjaris, "Go and tell me. Go to the houses of the gopis now, Abhimanyu's house, and just see who's there." So the messenger goes off, and she comes back a little bit later, and she's gasping, she's really surprised, and she says, "What did you see?" And she says, "Abhimanyu's house, Radharani was there making cow pats, and I went to Lalita's house, and I went to the Sakhi's house, and that, and they're all there at the house, all serving their husband." So then Purnamasi says, "Okay, bring them also." So they bring them, and then there's a real bustle in the courtyard, and Nanda Maharaj, they're all like, and there's two sets. There's the Radharani with her gopis there, and there's Radharani with all, and they're looking at each other, and they're looking at everybody, and everyone's buzzing, and then Purnamasi turns to the Brajvasis, and she says, "Okay, I want you to choose who the real Radharani is and who the real gopis are." So they're looking at this. And then they notice that the real Radharani has a special beauty, a special form, is emanating a golden effulgence of love that only the topmost gopi of Krishna could have. And then they start to notice that the others are actually like Sita. There was a replica made of Sita, and the real Sita stayed and with the sun god until until it was time, and then she was brought out of the fire by Agni. So so then they realize who the real Radharani is, and then they get married, because that nullifies before the marriages were just to these imitation gopis. So then they're free to get married. Anyway, it's a nice story. You want to read it, Krishna Sangati. So that's the special beauty that Radharani has, unlimited love for Krishna, and that makes her the most beautiful. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Without energy, there is no meaning to the energetic, and without the energetic, there is no meaning to the energy. Similarly, without Radha, there is no meaning to Krishna, and without Krishna, there is no meaning to Radha. Because of this, the Vaishnava philosophy first of all pays obeisances to and worships the internal pleasure potency of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Lord and his potency are always referred to as Radha Krishna. Similarly, those who worship Narayan first utter the name of Lakshmi as Lakshmi Narayan. Similarly, those who worship Lord Ram first utter the name of Sita. In any case, Sita Ram, Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, the potency always comes first. So Krishna is the source of everything. Aham Savasya Prabhavo. Everything is emanating from him. But at the same time, everything, Natoevaham Jitu Nasam, everything exists forever. There never was there a time. So just like you could say, the sunlight is coming from the sun, but there must have been a time when the sun was dark before the light emanated from it. But as soon as you say sun, then there's sunlight. You never have a dark sun, it's instantaneous. So there can not just be Krishna. Krishna means all the energy as well. And there's never a time when they didn't exist. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Shri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval, internal potency of the Lord. And this one is from Science of Self-Realization, Chapter 1. It is very simple. Hare means, oh, energy of the Lord, and Krishna means, oh, Lord Krishna. Just as there are males and females in the material world, similarly, God is the original male, Purusha, and his energy, Prakriti, is the original female. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we are saying, oh Lord Krishna, oh energy of Krishna, kindly engage me in your service. And this is from the Bhagavatam, 2nd canto. Spiritual happiness is Ananda Bharivardanam, or the ocean of happiness which increases. The material ocean is stagnant, but the spiritual ocean is dynamic. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ajya-lila 4th chapter, Kaviraj Goswami has very nicely described this dynamic increment of the ocean of spiritual happiness in the transcendental person of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. And then this is from the Nectar of Devotion. Lord Krishna enchants the world, but Sri Radha enchants even him. Therefore, she is the supreme goddess of all. Sri Radha is the full power, and Lord Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different, as evidenced by the revealed scriptures. They are indeed the same, just as musk and its scent are inseparable, or as fire and its heat are non-different, as Radha and Lord Krishna are one, yet they have taken two forms to enjoy the mellows of pastimes. And then this is from Nectar of Devotion. Srila Bilvamangala Thakur has prayed in this book as follows: let Srimati Radharani purify the whole world, because she has surrendered herself completely unto Krishna. Any comments or questions? This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Krishna continued, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan Dham, my mother, father, cowhead, boyfriends, and everything else are like my life and soul. And among all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis are my life and soul. And among the gopis, you, Srimati Radharani, are the chief. Therefore, you are the very life of my life. To be all and end all, and the life of my life. One time, Srila Prabhupada said there are all these songs, these love songs. He said they would be nice if they were about Krishna. In Radharani is found the signs of Ujjala, or the brightest jewel of love of God. And then from a lecture by Srila Prabhupada in 1968, Krishna is the energetic and Radharani is the energy. Just like energy and energetic, you cannot separate. Fire and the heat, you cannot separate. Wherever there is fire, there is heat, and wherever there is heat, there is fire. Similarly, wherever there is Krishna, there is Radha. Wherever there is Radha, there is Krishna. They are inseparable. And then from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most exalted. She is the most beautiful, the most qualified, and above all, the greatest lover of Krishna. And then a letter by Prabhupada in 1969. Radharani is the best, topmost servitor of Krishna, and the printing machine is the biggest medium at the present moment for serving Krishna. Therefore, it is rarely a representative of Srimati Radharani. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had the printing on his logo, didn't he? It was the printing press. It was considered so special, so auspicious. And then another letter by Prabhupada in 69. Srimati Radharani is the most beautiful, and she always enchants Krishna. But at the same time, Krishna is always the enchanter of Radharani. This reciprocal attraction of Radharani and Krishna is the basic principle of Lord Chaitanya's philosophy. And again, 1969, Prabhupada letter. Radha Krishna, Radha's name is first. Why? Nobody can be better devotee than Radharani. And as soon as Radha's name is there, Krishna is more pleased. That is the way. If we glorify the devotees, the character of the devotees, before the Lord, he's more pleased than to glorify himself, he directly. And then another letter next year. Lord Krishna's pleasure potency is called Haladini. So this spiritual energy of Krishna's pleasure potency, Haladini, is Srimati Radharani, who is always increasing the transcendental pleasure of Krishna by her super excellent loving devotional service. And again, another letter in 1970. Yes, you are certainly right when you say Radharani cooks prasadam for Lord Krishna. Whenever he returns in the evening from herding cows with his cowherd boyfriends, Radharani has a nice preparation waiting for Lord Krishna. So later on, there's going to be a reading about Srimati Radharani, and it will be about her appearance, and that's taken from Navaraji Mahima, and Shiv Ramraj has very nicely systematically gone through all the different holy places in Vrindavan, and then he explains the pastimes. So in Raval is where Srimati Radharani appeared, at least in this day of Brahma. In the last day of Brahma, she appeared in Vashana, but this day it was Raval. So there's a nice description there of how she got the benediction that whatever she cooked would taste like nectar, and whoever ate it would be protected from any calamities or inauspiciousness. So this is Bhagavatam, 2nd canto. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a tender-hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees, and once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is, therefore, that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly, and by once doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. So Srila Prabhupada said, if you took the most beautiful woman in the material world and you compared her to a demigod, a female demigod, then she would look like a frog, an ugly frog. And then he said, if you took the most beautiful demigoddess and compared her to a gopi, then the demigod would look like a frog. And then amongst the gopis, Radharani is outstandingly beautiful. So it's in fact, there's another pastime where the the queens come to Kurukshetra, and they've heard about Radharani, and they know that Krishna loves Radharani more than anybody else, because in his sleep he's often saying Radhe, Radhe. So they know that Radharani is special. So they want to see Radharani. And when they see her, her beauty is so powerful. She's emanating such a powerful golden effulgence that they all faint. The only one that doesn't lose consciousness is Queen Satyabhama. Everybody else is like, because she's just so overwhelmingly beautiful. It's interesting because when Queen Rukmini was being, when all the kings were, they were challenging to have her as their wife, when they saw Queen Rukmini, she was so beautiful that they fell off their horses. Big, powerful Kshatriyas. They were like, oh. What to speak of Srimati Radharani. Kamsa heard how beautiful Radharani was, and he came to try and take Radharani from Vrindavan. So this is another letter in 68. You'll find in Vrindavan, if you go to Vrindavan, everyone is worshipping Radharani. Rani means queen. They are always speaking, Jai Radhe, Radharani. All the devotees in Vrindavan, they are worshipper of Radharani. Hari niskuta brinda vipanesi. Prishabhanu dadi navashashi leki. What's that song? Hari niskuta brinda vipanesi. Prishabhanu dadi navashashi leki. And she appeared as the daughter of King Vrishabhanu and their companion, Lalita Saki and Vishaka Saki, and the devotees. So on behalf of the pure devotees of Krishna, Rupa Goswami is praying, Karunam Kuru Mai Karuna Bharitai. Oh, my worshipful Radharani, you are full of mercy. So I'm begging of your mercy, because you are so merciful. Very easily you bestow your mercy. So I'm begging your mercy. So when they were separated because of a curse for 100 years, Radharani and Krishna. So finally they reunited, and Radharani was so pleased. And Krishna said, I would like to give you a benediction. And she said, I don't need a benediction, I have everything I want. Well, Krishna pleaded, please, please, ask me to do something for you. So she said, okay, any devotee that worships you in the Holy Land of Braj over a prolonged period of time, please bless him with your mercy and give him your darshan. So Krishna says, so be it. But it's over a prolonged period of time. And that's why Rupa Goswami is saying, be patient. Be patient. You can do everything confidently and enthusiastically, but you also have to be patient. And that patience means give one lifetime. Just give this one lifetime. Be patient. You're getting the highest, the best. Just be patient. And when you get something that's eternal, then it doesn't matter how long it took. Because compared to, a lifetime of Brahma, compared to eternity, isn't even that. So however long it takes, it's never that long compared to eternity. If you can just remember that as you're going through your life. And the interesting thing about time is that as you pass through it, you realize that it doesn't really exist. It's just an illusion. There is no such thing as time. There's only the eternal present. The same present we're in now is the same present you were born in. And it'll be the same present that you die in. This moment is eternal. And the illusion is that time is passing by. But actually there is no such thing as time for the soul. So be patient and be fixed in the eternal present and serve Radha Krishna very patiently. And that benediction will be there. This is from Nectar Devotion. There's a supreme symptom of ecstatic love which is called Mahabhav. This Mahabhav expression was possible only in Radharani. But later on, when Sri Krishna Chaitanya appeared to feel the mode of love of Radharani, he also experienced all the symptoms of Mahabhav. Srila Goswami says in this connection that when the symptoms of ecstatic love become the most bright, that stage is accepted as Mahabhav. So when Lord Chaitanya went into ecstasy when he saw Lord Jagannath, he lost consciousness, and Sava Bhoma Bhattacharya could see Although he was an impersonalist, he could see this was a very elevated state of consciousness. Nectar of devotion. The beauty of Srimati Radharani is described as follows. Her eyes defeat the attractive features of the eyes of the chikori bird. When one sees the face of Radharani, he immediately hates the beauty of the moon. Her bodily complexion defeats the beauty of gold. Thus let us all look upon the transcendental beauty of Srimati Radharani. Anyone know what a chikori bird looks like? You ever seen a chikori bird? You seen one, Jananda, in Leeds? No. This is a letter in 1973. The photos are very nice, and Radharani looks very satisfied. As I see in the features of her face in the photo, if she is pleased, then Krishna is pleased, and all living entities are pleased. So what's significant about that is that Srila Prabhupada can see from the photograph of the deity that the deity is pleased. So in one of the Prabhupada memories, one of the disciples of Prabhupada is saying that when the curtains opened, the devotees were more interested to look at Prabhupada looking at the deities than to look at the deities, because if they looked at the deities, they couldn't really see that that was Krishna and Radharani. But when they looked at Prabhupada's face, they could see that he could see that there was Krishna and Radharani. So they were more interested to look at Prabhupada's face, who was looking at Radharani and Krishna. And there's a story as well. Prabhupada asked the Pujari to take the tilak out of the eye of the deity, just small deities, you know. Prabhupada was on the other side of the room, so it was quite a distance. And the Pujari went over and he came back and he said, I think you're mistaken, Prabhupada. There's no tilak in the eye of the deity. And Prabhupada insisted. So the Pujari, he's like, oh. And then he finally takes it out, you know. Now, he couldn't even see from there. He had to go back a second time. So that to me indicates that the deity was speaking to Srila Prabhupada. And when they saw Prabhupada, they said, can you ask the Pujari, there's some tilak in my eye, you know. So we get a little glimpse that there is something there, you know, something very special, very mystical. But it will take it takes dedicated service over a prolonged period of time to be able to see this magical aspect of Krishna consciousness. And so that requires patience and faith over a long period of time. And that's the hard bit. Keeping it going year after year. Waiting for the day. That special day. This is from Narottam Das Thakur. There is no comparison to Radharani's beauty and the lust of her transcendental body. The so-called beauty of the moon has fallen on the ground in the presence of Radharani's beauty. And then from Chaitanya Charitamrita, therefore Radha is Paramadevata, the supreme goddess, and she is worshipable for everyone. She is the protectress of all, and she is the mother of the entire universe. Srimati Radharani ki. Anybody, any reflections or stories or questions about Srimati Radharani? Yes, Jose. Yeah, she was married to Abhimanyu, and but Abhimanyu never actually touches Radharani, and the Radharani that he thinks he's with is an imitation Radharani for the pastimes to take place, to facilitate the pastimes. Oh, that's the Chikori? Wow. I've never seen one of those. Really? Wow. Yeah, yeah. She's She's feminine, she's Shakti Tattva. There's Vishnu Tattva, male, then there's Shakti Tattva, then there's Jiva Tattva, which is different energies, different truths. Tattva means truth. So she's the original female energy, and then from her come all the goddesses of fortune, all the gopis, all the manjaris, all the female parts. They're all emanating. So every time you see Sita Ram, Sita is Radharani, expansion of Radharani. Lakshmi, expansion of Radharani. The original goddess is Srimati Radharani. She's the energy and Krishna is the energetic. Krishna is the sun and she is the sunshine. Krishna cannot enjoy without Radharani. He needs her, otherwise he's not full. And there's so many songs like I was half not whole, which you can apply. The original love. You know when you see these films and you have the cowboy, and eventually on the last scene, you don't see it so much now, but in the old films, you know, the proper films, at the very end, the cowboy, he gets the blonde and he goes, I love you, honey. And then it goes to the end and everybody's looking at the film and they go, oh. Because the most heroic and brave male has finally ended up with the most beautiful and qualified woman. So everyone's like, it just wouldn't work, you know. If the woman was ugly and she had a big wart on the end of her nose and her name was Edith, he goes, okay, Edith, it's you and me from now on. But it's got to be beautiful, you know. She's got to be gorgeous, and then it's perfect. And no one's thinking, hey, oh, I should be with her, you know. Everyone's thinking, no, he's the brave cowboy. They deserve each other. You know, he went through so much, sacrificed his life. They should stay together, and then we're okay, you know. That's fine. And after they watched the film, they're like, that was good. I like that. Had a good ending, you know. So the original story, the original Adiras, the original relationship is Krishna and Radharani. Because it would be too easy for them just to be together all the time, then they're separated. And there's a challenge. How is Krishna going to get to Radharani? Or how is Radharani going to get to Krishna? And then that's Padakiya. That's like very exciting and very enthusiastic. Whereas Swakya is married, and he gets home from work. Oh, what time do you call this? And go and take the kids for a walk, you know. But that's like routine. It's not as exciting as Padakiya, where you're fighting so many obstacles. So Krishna makes the arrangement for his pastimes to be more exciting. And it seems like Radharani is with somebody else, another husband, and Krishna has to sneak out and try and make an arrangement to meet her, you know. Shiva Ramaj was saying it would be nice to have Radha Shyama in Scotland, Radha Krishna deities. We just need pujaris. We need people to take second initiation and commit, and then we can have Radha Krishna in Scotland, which would be nice, wouldn't it? We didn't plan to have these deities, and then they were in San Francisco, and somehow they ended up here. And we were in the middle of doing a Garanga campaign. And it was just Garanga everywhere, you know. Everybody was saying Garanga. Everywhere you looked, there was a Garanga sticker. The place was just covered in Garanga, all from the north of England, right the way up. And so then they came. So if we want Radha and Krishna, then we have to call for them. And then we have to be ready to serve them when they come. And not just a picture, but a deity. And Sri Tulsinath is Krishna. One time they were asking Prabhupada, oh, Prabhupada, how should we worship? This is Shalagram. Prabhupada says, I'm saying it is Krishna. Worship is Krishna. So we worship Sri Tulsinath as Krishna. So we offer all the prasadam to Sri Tulsinath Maharaj. Everything is offered to him, and then from him, everyone else is satisfied. So he's Krishna. And if you want to find out about the deities and their moods, then you go to the pujaris who've been serving the deities for a long time. Like in the Mana, when Srila Prabhupada was here, they served sweet rice, and when they went in to take the plates off the altar, the sweet rice, it looked like it'd been exploded. It looked like someone had put a stick of dynamite in the bowl with the sweet rice, lit it, and it just gone poof. So they told Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada said, "Was it burnt?" And the Pujari made some inquiries and found out it was just a little bit burnt, Srila Prabhupada. And there was another time, Dwight was telling me the deities that were in Edinburgh at Forest Road. I'm not sure where those deities ended up. Brass deities, Gaunitaya, Radha Krishna. But the pujaris were always complaining after a feast, they couldn't get the clothes on the deities. They didn't fit after a feast. And one time they'd measured them and cut them out, and they had this big feast, and it was a special day. The next day they were going to put these nice clothes on, and they checked them already. They put them on the day before to check, and they couldn't get them on. Clothes didn't fit. I can find out. I remember hearing the story, and I'm almost sure that they went to Soho Street. I can find out. And if you ask the pujaris, do you have any stories? There's things that go on that only pujaris know, and that just Krishna giving a little glimpse that he's there, you know. And it's interesting. Sri Ramanuja was just saying recently he's got 932 disciples, and 322 are only first initiated. And he was saying he's not going to be doing so much initiation now, so he's saying that they should maybe go and find somebody else for the second. And he was saying that the second initiation is the real initiation. It's the primary, and that you establish your relationship with your spiritual master with the second. So he was saying, you know, if you take a second from somebody else, see him as your primary guru. That's the real. That's when the real. The initial Harinam Diksha is more to qualify you. But then when you're actually fully initiated, second initiated, and then there's no point to getting second initiation unless you're going to do altar deity service. So Prabhupada went to such great lengths to establish deities. It would have been easier to have just said, look, just put pictures on the altar, and you don't have to have such a high standard, and just do books and chant, make that the main thing. But he went to all this trouble to establish all the deities in the different places, because he wanted the devotees to take Mahaprasadam. You can't get Mahaprasadam unless you have deities. And we live on Mahaprasadam. Prasadam is like our saving grace. So we only get Prasadam if we have deities, and we only get deities if we have second initiates. So very important that devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness become second initiated as quickly as possible and serve the deities. And then we can have Radharani in Scotland. Yes, Hare Krishna. If I understand the question correctly, you're asking At what point should we give up awe and reverence? Um, well, in the introductions to Vilakusamanjali, which are quite lengthy by Shiva Ramaraj, he's very much emphasizing that we shouldn't be premature in approaching the pastimes of Radharani, and that we should follow the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, and then when we become qualified. And just recently he was saying that, he said, my books are not meant for all the devotees, and the more advanced books, they should be read under supervision of older devotees. So under supervision, then they can oversee us and make sure that our mood is correct, that we're not taking it cheaply. So Hajj means to jump ahead of what you're qualified. Niyamagraha also means to go beyond what you're qualified to approach. And if you don't understand how much you don't understand, that's the first thing. Actually, the first thing is understanding how much we don't understand, how much we are in ignorance. Like, Radharani is the pleasure potency. She's more beautiful than the most beautiful demigod, who's more beautiful than the most beautiful woman. And, if we're still attracted to Agnes on the corner, like we've got a long way to go. So if we're very attracted, very enamored by the material energy, then we're disqualified from going into these high levels where purity is required. So then we have to Sankalpa Kamudi is another way Shiva Ramaraj, and it's about analyzing where you are in your present stage of Krishna consciousness, and not trying to go 10 steps ahead. We're just trying to take the next step up from where you are. Okay, am I regulated? Am I following the principles? Am I chanting without any distraction, attentively? Great. Okay, so that means I'm at this stage, and then eventually I'm Nishta, and then Ruchi, and then Asakti, and Bhav, and then Prem, And if we try to do a shortcut, there's no shortcuts actually. Do you know the expression cutting corners? No. So when you cut a corner, it's like if you want to get somewhere fast, if you go like that, it's going to take you a while, right? So you cut the corner. So people say, well, cut corners. But the only problem with cutting corners is, if you've got a piece of paper with 4 corners and you cut them, you end up with more corners. You just make it more difficult. So by cutting corners, you actually make it more difficult. Whereas if you follow everything very, very strictly and straight, then you'll get there quicker. So it's kind of counterintuitive. You think, well, if I skimp on the standards, then I'll get it done faster, and we'll get there quicker. But as soon as you start skimping on the standards, you just slow down the whole process of purification and your rate of advancement. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said 10, 15 years of steady devotional service, then we go from anartha nivritti to artha pravritti, which means instead of just trying to get rid of all the nasty things, at that stage we're actually starting to bring in the nice things, I'd like to meditate on this, I'd like to go to Vashyana, I'd like to do this, I'd like to learn this bhajan, I'd like to get into this mood. That's artha pravritti. But you can't have artha pravritti until the unwanted things are cleared out, anartha nivritti. But he says 10, 15 years steady devotional service, then you're qualified to start looking at all these esoteric, confidential, intimate aspects of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, until then, roll your sleeves up and do some hard work. Could we read them? Yeah. Well, it should be supplementary, yeah. So every day. Best is to rise at 3 and read an hour, and then come and chant your japa. And then you got an hour. And you know this word percolate. So when you read, those statements percolate in the subconscious mind. We're kind of doing this right now in the Japa Sangha meetings. There's Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam. The Vishnu Smaranam, that will be there automatically if you've read before you've chanted. Automatically, there'll be pastimes and philosophical points kind of percolating around in the mind, and at the same time you're chanting. So it means you enhance your ability to chant and worship the holy name, because you'll be remembering things as well. So if you do that, Bhagavad Gita every day, Bhagavatam every day, CC every day, and you work your way systematically through, and then supplementary books can be toward the end of the day, just when you're taking rest. You read Shuddhabhakti Chintamani or Sankalpa Kamudi, or there's so many books now that our international society have, about Prabhupada as well, about Prabhupada's pastimes and memories. So all these help us to better appreciate who Prabhupada is, and then to appreciate what Prabhupada is giving us. And in the offering by Anuttama Prabhu, he was saying the two challenges he sees in ISKCON now is that as all the Prabhupada disciples leave, that we forget the mood of Srila Prabhupada, and we bring in all these weird and wonderful new ways of doing things, and the standards lower. And the other challenge is, he says, that as the movement becomes more powerful and more influential, that the devotees don't become seduced by Taranga Ranjani, all the facilities that will come. Because now we are starting to be considered authorities in yoga and meditation. I've got business people I go to and they're saying, can you come and counsel my staff? So they're starting to see now that we're like coming up to a professional standard, which would have an influence on society. So that's the two challenges in ISKCON. Can we not forget the mood of Prabhupada? And can we not become enamored by the success that our movement is now starting to achieve? So yeah, that's a good program. Get up at 3, read an hour, then chant, and then in the evening, go to put the Facebook away and go and take rest. And then you can get up at 3, no problem. 6.5 hours rest. You'll be fresh as a daisy. It takes a while to get used to 6 hours as well, because we're thinking we need more. But once you get used to 6 hours, any more than that, you start seeing that's mode of ignorance. 6, 7 hours at the most. Oh, Vikruditam Radivadibeta Damchi Vishnu. That's 10, 33, 39. 39, yeah. Oh, okay. Vikruditam Radivadibeta Damchi Vishnu. Shadan Vitodishana Yadatavani. So what you have to do is you have to check it out and see if it works for you. And Srila Prabhupada, in one letter, he was saying, whenever a sudden rush of sex desire comes into your mind, immediately think of the Lord's Rasalila. But then he said, but if this agitates you more, then don't do this. If you're so far gone that you can't even become pacified by that, then you're going to have to work up to that. It was a general recommendation, and the Bhagavatam is generally recommending to do that. That if you approach fire, then you have to become like fire. It is purifying. For personally speaking, for me, now that it's come later on, I find the verse very useful, very, very powerful, And actually, there was a devotee yesterday who was asking me, he says, "Oh, Prabhu, how do you overcome this material desires? I'm getting a lot of these desires right now." So I says, learn this verse, and just every time the desires come in, just say the verse. And it's like a shield, like a kavacha, and it'll protect you, So that's what I experienced, and it was my Guru Maharaj who told me to do it, and so he was saying, he said, "Don't you know the Vikruditam verse?" I says, "No." He says, "Okay, learn the verse." So you can try it and say, it's a shield, kavacha. Because you have to, when you're getting attacked, you have to put the shield up. You can't just have the shield there. You have to hide behind the shield. Well, you can come back in 20 years and tell me if it worked. Purnamasi? Purnamasi is the mother of Sandi Pani Muni. She's the grandmother, and she's Yoga Maya. She's the personification of Yoga Maya in the spiritual world. She makes all the arrangements. Usually Purnamasi and Brindadevi get together, and they say, well, Radharani's in a bit of a funny mood today, and Krishna's, okay, make all the flowers purple, use the musk fragrance, do the tunes in this rag, and it's all worked out beforehand. And then Brindadevi has a warehouse with all paraphernalia and all different props for whatever is needed, And then they get all the gear out and get ready, and that's what the pastimes are for that day. So between Purnamasi and Brindadevi, she has 100,000 parrots. So like we have mobile phones, well, in the spiritual world they use parrots, and the parrots go everywhere and they see what's going on, and then they come back and report, and then they can change things accordingly. Jai Shrimati Radharani ki Gaura Premanandi Haribo.